Shabbat Shalom. Hey, Chaim Hila Machazikim Bavetom Chamea Meushar. Hey, Chaim Hila Machazikim Bavetom Chamea Meushar. Shalom, 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 shalom. It is a tree of life for those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life for those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom. Oh, I even got a nishika. Shabbat shalom, everybody. I am Cantor Batami Moses, and who you just saw with me was, of course, Ezekiel Moses. And I invited Zeke to do this song, and we'll talk about why I chose this song, this particular song, this special Shabbat, because it is, dun 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 dun, next slide, Celebration Shabbat. That's right, and Zeke is celebrating him becoming 11 years old this month. I cannot believe I have a teenager and an 11-year-old. So this is a wonderful way to start this month. It's getting darker, it's getting colder, but we need more light and more celebration and more love and more joy. And that's exactly what we're here to do tonight, to start this Shabbat and this month off. And so the reason I did sing Eitz Chaim He was because we have somebody very special waiting to light our Shabbat candles. And the way we're going to bring more light into the world this Shabbat is inviting all of you as well to share your light, share your joys, share all of the things that you're celebrating, even if it's something you got outside today because it was very cold, or you took your 10,000 steps today, things that we're celebrating, especially at this challenging time. And we invite you to put all those wonderful celebratory things in the chat box so that later in the service, our wonderful President Amy Weisbach can announce all the things we're celebrating, and we can sing a hearty Mazel Tov. And here we see that I invited one of my favorite people, seriously, one of my favorite people, Nate Kutzen, to light the Shabbat candles. And the reason I sang Eitz Chaim He, because I know it is one of his favorite songs, and I'll share a little light that came to my heart that at Sunday school, and this was already maybe a year or a couple years ago, Nate, right, that you kept asking me for the sheet music. I mean, when does a first grader asked me for sheet music, because he loved Eitz Chaim. So that is for you, my friend. And let me see. I can't see you. Did we find you here in the Zoom room? Have we found Nate and his family in the Zoom room?
How do we do
that? Oh, I hear you. Yes, there you are. Amazing, Nate. You already lit your beautiful Shabbat candles. So I will invite everybody who hasn't yet to light their candles. I'm going to do mine right now. And then we can go to the next slide and say the blessing with Nate.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Wow, Yasher Koach, so beautiful. Nate and Seth, it's so wonderful to have you with us and joining us. I know you've been to several of our virtual Shabbatot, and Nate, you bring a lot of light into the world. So thank you for bringing your light to your Temple Israel family tonight. And we bring more light in as well as we welcome the Shabbat bride. So please sing with me, Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela. Shamor ve'zachor ve'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, Leshem u'tiferet ve'litila. Lecha Dodi, your turn. Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, that's it, Nate. Kamila, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela. Likrat Shabbat, Lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor haberacha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela. Hit-oreri, Ki ba'orech, Kumi Uri, that means wake up. Shir daveri, Kavod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela. We rise. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha uv'sola, Toch emunei am segula, Boi chala, Boi chala, Boi chala. Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela. Let me hear you. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi. We remain standing for our Baruch Hu prayer, and one of the perks at being home, right? Not being together. One of the things we can do, we can sing as loud as we want. We don't have to disturb our neighbor. We can pray with unabashed joy and yearning. So I invite you to do that tonight as we continue with our beautiful Baruch Hu prayer. La Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed, Le'olam Vaed. Yalalai, 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 You may be seated, and especially at this time, we know dark rolls into light a little bit too quickly. And before we sing our fun song, Roll into Dark, Roll into Light, I'm going to share a little kavanah, a little intention about light. And this is from one of my favorite teachers, Rabbi Jill Hammer, in her Jewish Book of Days. And she writes, "This is the season of contemplation. But we must not be naive about contemplation. Meditating on the world can bring lots of light, but it can also bring us darkness and sorrow and even cynicism. Sometimes we look at our planet and see a world where chaos reigns and pain, grief, and anger even rage around us. But look, soon, in a couple days, we are going to light the lights of Hanukkah, and we will kindle in a few days that represent not only our joy, but also the troubles of the world. The candles are witnesses to the creation and the destruction that marks our mortal existence. Yet through our communal celebration of light, we assert that life has meaning and power, that it is a castle of light, not only of building in flames, but one that brings light and joy." So when I see this beautiful slide and when I think about these words, I think about much more of the light that we're going to bring in during this dark time that not only reveals our joy, but also our sorrow, because we can't have light without the darkness. We sing, roll into dark, roll into night, night becomes day, day turns to night. Sing with me, roll into dark, roll into night, night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, lechoshech mipnei or. One more time, roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, lechoshech mipnei or. And now, let's read this together. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? We know that when we get ready to say the Shema, we have these themes of creation, revelation, and redemption. And here, we're grateful for the theme of creation. Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than the holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlachtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, אשר קדושים אלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Read with me. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe that what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. As we prepare to sing Mi Chamocha, our redemption song, it makes me think of, this is the season of miracles, right? We're about to celebrate the Feast of Miracles, the festival of lights. And as some of you know, and I hope you'll all come, that I've been preparing a very special Hanukkah concert for the music of Stephen Schwartz. And one of the songs I sing is When You Believe in Miracles. And it's a beautiful piece, but it also has the passages from Shirat Hayam, from the Song of the Sea. And so now every time I think about Mi Chamocha and I sing Mi Chamocha, I also hear that beautiful song about miracles, and it just is even a deeper connection to, my goodness, God creates miracles, but guess what? We have to take the first step, not only the physical first step into the metaphorical waters, but also the emotional step to trust in God and trust in faith. So join with me, believing in the miracle. ונאמר כי פתרנו נא את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל. So this week, my friends, we are still in such a dramatic part of the Torah, right? Bereshit, Genesis is all the juicy stories of families that function, even though there's lots of dysfunction. We don't like that word dysfunctional families because we all find a way to function. But here we are after Yaakov has this amazing dream last week, right? With angels going up and down ladders. And this week, this is where Yaakov wrestles and he struggles. And the people of Israel get our name from this encounter. You might remember this is the parsha, the portion where Jacob struggles in the Torah. It says with an ish. What is that ish? Ish is translated usually as a man. But what was that man? Was that an angel? Some commentators say, was that actually his brother coming back to haunt him before they re-meet again? Was it a version of himself? Was it God? So before we delve into our Hashkivenu prayer, I just want to share a little bit of a beautiful piece of Torah that I was studying this week when I was studying the Torah portion. And it's from Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, Alav HaShalom, who we lost a couple of weeks ago. And our executive director, Jenna Schur, gave such wonderful Torah from him last week about gratitude. And so I decided to study a little bit more about his beautiful drash, his take on this Torah portion. So he says that he's often argued that the episode in which the Jewish people acquired its name, when Jacob wrestled with an unnamed adversary at night and received the name Israel, is actually essential to an understanding of what it is to be a Jew. So like I said, there were several theories as to the identity of the Ish, the man who wrestled with the patriarch that night. The Torah calls him a man, but the prophet Hosea called him an angel. And the sages said it was actually Samuel, guardian angel of Esav, but also a force of evil. But Jacob himself was certain it was God. In fact, Jacob called the place Peniel, which means I saw the face, the punim, right? El is God and a panim is face. I saw the face of God, and that's why I call this place Peniel. I saw the face of God, and yet my life was spared, right? We remember the story. If you see the face of God, you won't live. But Jacob lived. So Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs says that his suggestion can only understand this passage by reviewing the entirety of Jacob's life. Well, don't worry, we're not going to review the entirety of Jacob's life or read Rabbi Sachs's entire drash, but I do want to bring his thesis to the forefront when he says that Jacob was actually not a great leader. There was as yet no nation for him to lead at that point. Yet the Torah goes to great lengths to give us an insight into his struggle for identity, because it was not his alone. Most of us have experienced this struggle. It is not easy to overcome the desire to be someone else, to want other things that people have, and to be what they are. Most of us have had such feelings from time to time. And it has been argued that the main conflict through history is just this. And it takes a lifetime of wrestling before we know who we are and relinquish the desire to be who we are not. More than anyone else in Genesis, Jacob is surrounded by conflict, not just between himself and Esav, but between himself and Lavan, between Rachel and Leah, and between his sons, Joseph and his brothers. And it is as if the Torah were telling us that so long as there is conflict within us, there will be conflict around us. So we have to resolve the tension in ourselves before we can do so for others. Remember, Jacob became Yisrael, which means to wrestle, to struggle with God. And that's our role. I just included that. But he concludes that we have to be at peace with ourselves before we can be at peace in the world. So that is my intention for us as we sing this song of peace, the song of Hashkivenu that originally wasn't even in our evening liturgy, but the rabbis thought when darkness comes, metaphorically and physically, we need more peace. So please join me as we sing Hashkivenu together. Hashkivenu.
Sheshet Yamim Asa Adonai, Asa Adonai, Et HaShamayim ve'et ha'aretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
And now, friends, we've come to what's called the tefillah, ha-tefillah, the tefillah. And if tefillah means prayer, why all of a sudden now is it ha-tefillah, the tefillah? Well, the rabbis say that all the prayers that we have been doing up until now have been communal, right? We've been together and singing and praying our desires, our yearnings, our wants, our gratitudes. But ha-tefillah is not between you and the community. It's between you and God. So I invite you now to rise if you're able, or to sit in quiet contemplation. And if you feel moved to use the traditional words of our liturgy that connects you to our ancestors and to our past, then we'll rise and use those words. But of course, we always know and want to remember that God truly understands the language of our hearts, if you prefer to use your own words or even silence. But for those who are rising, please rise with me now, and we'll begin. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, ve'Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagipor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevii Gula livnei v'nehem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Mi chamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanata l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadoshim v'chol yom yachalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We continue silently. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 yai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai 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 yai. conclusion of your own prayers at this time, we'll add a prayer for those who are in need of a refuat hanefesh ve'refuat haguf, a full healing of body and soul. That's right, we're just waiting for can go to the next slide. Thank you so much. And we have so many people in our hearts and minds right now, just too many. And we want you to be able to share those names if you'd like in the chat box, or say them on the tips of your tongues and really feel their presence so we can send them all the good energy and the healing they need at this moment. And this week, we are sending our love and our prayers to Harav Tuvia Levi ben Yosef Tzvi HaKohen Ubatya, Daniel ben Baruch ve'Carmela, Carmela bat Sylvia ve'Mac, Shraga ben Alexander, Yaakov Yitzchak ben David ve'Rahav, Eliyahu ben Sarah, Harav Ruven Shlomo ben Mendel ve'Leah, Naomi bat Miriam ve'Harav Yosef, Gittel bat Yehuda ve'Chaya, Zissel Chana bat Yitta Rivka, Levia bat Rachel, Gabriela bat Nehemiah uDvorah, Yirmiyahu ben Yosef ve'Rachel, Sandor ben Sarah, Norma Agranoff, Pat Kodel, Jimmy Connolly, Lily Kovitz, Bree Craig, George Dickerson, Isabella Fazon. We're sending energy to Larry Footer, Ellie Guinness, Nate Goldberg, Keisha Hutchins, Ethan Kadish, Ruth Kahn, Ray Carlsberger, Delma Killinger, Elizabeth Kloss, Jake Meyer, William Nolan, Anthony Paneth, Clark Patton, Helene Paselnik, Cassie Ruch, Lisa Scher, Ben Simon, Doug Stossel, Jeff Swartz, Lee Tenenbaum, Annette Turner, Benji Steltzer, Cindy Young. Please forgive me if I mispronounce anyone's name, and all those people who are suffering right now and those you've added to the chat box. We sing together Moses' first words when he tried to heal his sister Miriam, saying, please God, heal her and also heal us. Join me. Repeat after me. Dear God of our ancestors, help us renew our faith. Grant us a perfect healing. Bring peace to all our days. It has been our minhag, our tradition, at every celebration Shabbat to add this beautiful blessing called Birkat HaGomel. I don't know about you, but every time somebody asks me lately, how are you? How you doing? My answer is, I have my health and I have my job, so I'm ecstatic, right? There's so many people right now who aren't in the best health and who might have lost their jobs or their jobs have changed. And I just feel so grateful. And this Birkat HaGomel prayer is a prayer of gratitude, of thankfulness. Not only, it's usually said when you come from a life-threatening situation, but it could also be less dramatic than that, when you're just grateful to be alive. So if you feel that you are in need of this blessing, please join me, and then the congregation and I will respond with the response. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hagomel l'chayavim tovot, shegmalanu kol tov. Blessed are you, our God eternal. Your majesty fills the universe. Through your generosity, I've experienced your goodness. Amen. And then the congregation responds, Amen. Mi shigmalachem kol tov, hu yigmalachem kol tov selah. May the source of goodness bring you goodness at all times. And we say Amen. Of course, in our tradition, especially now, we also add a prayer for caregivers. Please join me. For all who are faithfully taking care of the community's needs, may God reward them, protect them from, and remove them from all sickness, and heal them completely. May God send them blessings and success in all they do, together with all of humanity, and let us say, Amen. And a prayer for our country. Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings for our country, for its government, for its leaders and advisors, and for all who exercise just and rightful authority. Teach them insights of your Torah, that they may administer all affairs of a state fairly, that peace and security, happiness and prosperity, justice and freedom may forever abide in our midst. Creator of all flesh, bless all the inhabitants of our country with your spirit. May citizens of all races and creeds forge a common bond in true harmony, to banish hatred and bigotry, and to safeguard the ideals and free institutions that are the pride and glory of our country. May this land under your providence be an influence for good throughout the world, uniting all people in peace and freedom, and helping them to fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they experience war anymore. And let us say, Amen. Just a note about this blessing, this prayer, the source is the Sim Shalom prayer book, not the prayer book that we usually use together. The synagogue that I was at before, we said that blessing every Shabbat, and I was so moved when Rabbi Mars said, let's use this one, because I just remember being so attached to that blessing for our country. And so now it's like I've been saying it for 15 years. So, and we just added this new beautiful blessing for the prayer for the state of Israel. Please join me. Master of compassion and forgiveness, cosmic majesty who is peace. Wow. Teach us your ways. Show us the path that preserves life. Plant a steadfast reminder of our inherited mission in our hearts, to be a compassionate people descended from compassionate people, pursuers of peace and harmony, keepers of God's way to do charity and justice, despisers of revenge and begrudging, lovers of forgiveness and pardon, the ones who unremittingly declare that humans are precious, for they were created in your image. Guard our tongues from hate speech and our lips from speaking to incite wickedness. Help us to return to you fully, so that we finally understand that there is no hope in perpetual violence. Place counsel and discernment in the hearts of our leaders and guide them on the path of peace, so that they may choose a path that promotes life for the benefit of all your creations. Reveal yourself fully and spread over all of us the shelter of your peace, and may wickedness disappear from the face of the earth. For you are the master of compassion and forgiveness. Blessed are you, God, master of peace and reconciliation. And we sing together. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael vegalo. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael vegalo. And now, of course, is the moment we've all been waiting for, when I get to introduce Amy Weisbach, our esteemed, wonderful president, to share all the things, please God, we are celebrating this month. Amy.
Thank you, Cantor. And we are celebrating a lot this month. First, we're going to celebrate Ruth Silverman's grandson, Bensie's first birthday this week. Yom Huledet Sameach to Bensie. And we're going to celebrate Zeke Moses' 11th birthday this month. Pam Silverman also has a big birthday this month on Friday the 11th. Sina Goldman's son, Steve, has a birthday, And Sina has a birthday this month. Sina's is on December 23rd, and she has a birthday buddy. One of our staff, Jenna Scher, has a birthday on December 23rd as well. Karen Carlsberger celebrates the joy of her life, which is her husband, Ray. Rachel Mitchell started selling Scentsy, and her first online party is Monday, and she has a new nephew. Leslie Cantwell West has a nephew that is due on December 15th. Paula Weinstein has a birthday on the 6th. Barbara Dowell is celebrating her birthday on December 29th. Karen Turner and Steve are celebrating life every day with a smile on their faces. Zach Luper Friedman is expecting baby number 2 at some point this month. And I want to celebrate one of our newest families. Welcome to the Dawson family. Thank you for being with us and for celebrating with us. And Naomi Dawson is celebrating her teacher who's back to work after COVID. And Eden Dawson is learning sight words. Becky Dawson celebrates her children, Naomi, Eden, Lila, and Jacob. Welcome to you all, and thank you. And finally, I'm celebrating having somebody to be at services with me, my daughter, Beth. So that's it. Thank you all. Oh, wait, there's another one. Aaron Ross is celebrating his grandson, Sammy Ross's black belt in karate. Ooh, that's wonderful.
Ooh, stay away, right? Stay away.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much, Amy. It really makes my heart really honestly filled with light and so much joy because we need it. And I actually wrote an email to all of our pre-B'nai Mitzvah students saying, you probably can't believe, but now is the time. We got to celebrate everything. So here we go. Let's sing. Simmin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simmin tov, simmin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simmin tov, simmin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simmin tov, Yelanu, 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 Lecho Yisrael, Yelanu, Yelanu, Lecho Yisrael, Yelanu, Yelanu, Lecho Yisrael, Mazel Tov. And I'll ask you to rise for our Aleinu prayer. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. So friends, we take a moment now to recognize all those in our lives who may not be physically present here on earth, but still remain very much alive in our hearts and minds and memories. And this week, we acknowledge the recent passing of our wonderful new staff member, Jody Bumgarner. Her mother passed away, Barbara Bumgarner. Also in the period of Shiva, we recognize the father of Ben Wayne, Marvin Wayne. In the period of Shloshim, we recognize Stephen Kahn, Robert Aronson, and Stephen Zwelling. And if you are here this evening in the period of Shiva or Shloshim, I'll ask you to rise and say the name aloud of your loved one or put them in the chat box. And tonight we are recognizing the yahrzeit of so many loved ones. And tonight, you know, one of the perks of the pandemic is that people can come to our services, and we recognize that Jamie Kaplan's father, Thomas Kaplan, Alav HaShalom, is his yahrzeit tonight. And all the way from Albuquerque, Jamie joins us almost every Shabbat. And we know that we want you to know that your home is also Columbus. And we recognize his memory this evening. And when you hear the name of your loved one, please rise. We remember Sherry Becker, Milton Blank, Mitchell E. Blazar, Pearl Bottengamer, William B. Califf, Ben Carlstein, John David Crable, Reuben Dunn, Bessie Schomer Folkman, Benjamin F. Frank, Julia Leviton Glickman, Martin Gold, Stephanie Goldberg, Harry Golem, Bernard Human, Thomas Kaplan, Betty Kaufman, Ida Ruth Lehrer. We remember Karin Levine, Abe Levinson, Howard Lubo, Betty Malt, Sophia Mendelson, Sherry Moses, Sidney Packer, Maxwell J. Poppert, Jacques Politi, Florence Posner, Samuel Rosenfeld, Helen Samuels, Samantha Stallings, Jenny S. Stone, Stanley Stupé, Alan Tarshish, Evelyn Weinberg, and Adolphe Weil. Once again, please forgive me if I mispronounced anyone's name, and if you have anybody else to add, say their name aloud or put them in the chat box, and we'll all stand together, shoulder to shoulder, and say the words of the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayachon v'yomachon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. V'agala v'zman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach leolam u'lamei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yidroma v'yinaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata damiran ba'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say Amen. You may be seated. And firstly, I'd like to thank our incredible staff here with me tonight. Thank you, Ruth, for doing all those slides, and Jenna and Zach letting people in and doing them. There's a lot going on, even in this tech world, right? And Amy, thank you so much. And Beth, thank you for being here. And we have a lot going on. Ruth, do you want to share this special event that you basically have spearheaded and are running yourself?
I'd be happy to. Sunday is the day we're going to collect all the mittens and gloves and white socks that you've been collecting. You just will bring them to the new building at 3100 East Broad, to the parking lot. We will have a contact-free opportunity for you to drop them in a box. Then move down a little further where you will find a table of candles. You will pick a box of candles. A little further down, you'll have a bag of dreidels and gelt. All these things are brought to you by the candles are from Debbie Belinkie, and the dreidels and the gelt are from our board of trustees. We are so thrilled and really hope you'll be able to do this. In the event you don't have any mittens and gloves and you still want to come and receive the lovely goodies, bring a check and we'll take care of the shopping for you.
Thank you so much, Ruth. I have to say that, you know, even though it's getting darker and colder and we can't be physically together right now at all, but especially for Hanukkah, when it's a time we like to come in each other's houses and be cozy, you can go to the next slide, because I'm saying that I'm actually so excited. Oh, I wasn't talking about tomorrow, but I'm also so excited for tomorrow morning too. I was just saying I'm so excited about Hanukkah with everything that's coming up. But before Hanukkah, come join me tomorrow morning, because I also love these kind of mornings too, where at first I get to spend Shabbat with the Tots at 10, and then Shabbat blessings and prayers at 11. And we'll be honoring Pam. I didn't even know it was her birthday. Pam and Bruce Silberman, they are going to be coming up for an aliyah when we're going to read this dramatic Vayishlach Torah portion. So please come join me and our wonderful Shabbat morning prayers community. And at the same time, if you don't like lots of words or singing, you can come meditate at 10 a.m. That's going to be happening simultaneously. And Baruch Hashem, the rabbi has a weekend off, so her class will be canceled, but I believe will resume the following week. And now for my excitement about Hanukkah, I would think. Right, now! Oh my God, because there's 8 brilliant nights. And I just think for everybody, it's going to be my intention. I just want to bring a lot of joy and a lot of fun and a lot of silliness and a lot of light, this Hanukkah. And we have so much of that planned for you. So if I'm not going to read every single one here, but every single night we have something very special. First night for everybody. Second night, really for everybody. We're going to have such a special night. I know you guys are all here now, but come next week. We're going to not only have a little sneak peek of our building, but we have an amazing Hanukkah video of our kids singing with a special musical guest, Alan Goodis. And then check out which night is just for you, because we have really wonderful, exciting things. It's not a long time commitment, 6:30 to 7, and then you can go do your own Hanukkah celebrations. But come be with your Temple Israel family first to light your Hanukkah, and then you can go eat as many sufganiyot as you want. In fact, I'm happy we're not having a huge party, because one year one of my kids told me they ate 13 jelly donuts in one night. You remember that, Ruth, probably. And I think the next slide, so I said that already. So come on Friday night. And then, even though this is scheduled for a senior event, I want everybody to come to this if you can, because it's going to be so amazing. Not because of me, but it's because I just keep getting more and more incredible guest artists. I have one of my best friends who made her Broadway debut in Wicked. She's singing in the concert. We're doing some fun duets. There's 4 other amazing cantors that did this incredible presentation, and it's going to be so much fun. And please tell your friends. Tuesday, December 15th, wonderful way to spend lunch, Hanukkah lunch. And thank you, Judy and Joan, for getting that up. And here we go. I think we're all hungry, so raise your glass. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. And best for last, I did not thank Nate for lighting those candles. Thank you so much, Nate. And come next week where you'll see Nate featured again. And check this out. Half everything seeds. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. I guess Rabbi Moses is in trouble that, once we get our shul, he's going to be making the challah for everybody. Shabbat shalom.